The conflict between the United States and Iran continues to intensify, with both sides widening the scope of their military operations far beyond traditional military targets. Fresh American strikes have targeted key transport and logistics infrastructure across southern Iran, while Tehran has responded with attacks on U.S. military assets and Gulf states hosting American forces. At sea, the confrontation over the Strait of Hormuz has deepened, raising fresh concerns over global energy supplies and regional stability. Here's the latest. The United States carried out a seventh consecutive night of strikes across Iran, targeting military logistics infrastructure, surveillance sites, underground weapons depots and maritime capabilities, according to U.S. Central Command. Iranian media reported attacks near Jask, Bandar Abbas, Sirak, Awaz, Yazd, and Karamabad, while at least 5 bridges in southern Iran were struck. A key railway station in Bandar Kamir and an airport in Iranshar, near Iran's border with Pakistan, were also reportedly hit. Iranian officials said the attacks damaged vital transport routes, with several civilians killed and injured in strikes on bridges and surrounding infrastructure. Iran responded with another wave of missile and drone attacks targeting American military infrastructure across the Gulf. Kuwaiti authorities confirmed that one of the country's power generation and desalination plants was hit, causing fires, damage to electricity production units and temporary disruptions to water and power supplies. Qatar said its air defenses intercepted incoming missiles aimed at military facilities, while Bahrain reported intercepting aerial attacks. Tehran also claimed it struck a U.S. radar installation in Oman, targeted American military positions near the Tanf base in Syria for the first time since the conflict began, and launched attacks against U.S. naval assets operating in the region. The standoff over the Strait of Hormuz has continued to escalate, with both sides attempting to enforce competing controls over one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. The U.S. military said Marines boarded a tanker near the strait as part of Washington's renewed naval blockade of Iranian shipping, while Iranian forces claimed they intercepted vessels violating Tehran's navigation rules. Iran's Revolutionary Guards also reported targeting a Thai-flagged commercial vessel attempting to transit the strait. Elsewhere, armed men seized another commercial ship off Yemen in the Gulf of Aden, fueling fears that instability could spread to the Red Sea. Yemen's Houthi movement also declared it was prepared to follow any orders issued by Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei, raising concerns that another strategic maritime corridor could become part of the conflict. The latest escalation has increasingly shifted towards civilian infrastructure with major implications for regional energy security. Iran said U.S. strikes damaged power facilities, transport infrastructure, and energy-related sites in southern provinces, prompting authorities to urge citizens to reduce electricity consumption as the national grid came under strain. Officials warned that continued attacks on infrastructure could affect essential services during peak summer temperatures. Meanwhile, Brent crude prices rose more than 4% as investors reacted to growing fears of prolonged disruption to energy exports passing through the Gulf, where roughly 1/5 of global oil supplies normally transit through the Strait of Hormuz. The United Nations says Secretary General Antonio Guterres is deeply concerned by the continuing military escalation between Iran and the United States, particularly attacks on civilian infrastructure in Iran and across the region. Speaking in New York on Friday, July 17, UN Deputy Spokesperson Farhan Haq called such attacks unacceptable and said the UN chief believes there is no military solution to the conflict.
And this just in, the Secretary General remains deeply concerned by the continuing military escalation between Iran and the United States of America. He's particularly concerned about attacks on civilian infrastructure in Iran and across the region. Such attacks are unacceptable. He reiterates his firm conviction that there's no military solution to this conflict and calls for stepped-up diplomatic efforts towards a peaceful and durable settlement. Such a settlement should include the full restoration of international navigational rights and freedoms in and around the Strait of Hormuz.
What began as a confrontation over the Strait of Hormuz has now evolved into a broader conflict involving critical infrastructure, regional military bases, and international shipping routes. As Washington and Tehran continue to exchange strikes and neighboring Gulf states become increasingly drawn into the fighting, hopes for reviving diplomacy appear to be fading, while fears of a wider regional conflict and prolonged disruption to global energy markets continue to mount.